I am back. Actually, it's only a few minutes later, so... And I wanted to give you an update on my HSG results in more detail, although there's really not much detail to give you. And then our plan moving forward. I thought I would make this 2 videos so that they're shorter. If you're only interested in one part, you don't have to watch both. And I will link somewhere, if I remember, I will link to my HSG experience video. Excuse me, my face is really itchy all of a sudden. Okay, now I'm going to be red. Woosah. Okay, I will link my HSG experience video somewhere or down below if I forget to. So it'll be somewhere. If you're interested in what my procedure was actually like, that'll be there. As far as my results, everything looked really good, which I said in my other video. My cavity was clear. I had no polyps. He was worried about a septum. He thought maybe I had a septum, and then the pregnancies were trying to implant on that. Didn't have a septum. My uterus was shaped correctly. He couldn't see any scar tissue, so everything looked good there. I also had clear fallopian tubes and good spillage, which apparently is important. My radiologist mentioned that like 4 times. Like, oh look, you've got great spillage. So I don't know if it just trickles, if that's bad. I don't know. Basically, everything looked really clear, and my doctor gave us the immediate okay to start trying again. He said, of course you need to wait a day or 2 to ensure that all the dye has left your system, basically, but otherwise you're good to start trying right now. You can try this cycle or wait a cycle. He said he doesn't care. So that's good. We also talked a little bit about my blood results from my excuse me, my recurrent miscarriage blood work I had done, and he said basically he's really happy with the results. There was one protein on one long giant test that came back a little tiny bit high, but it was like, he was like, if I remember right, it was barely out of normal range. And I was like, yep, that's what I saw. And he said basically that in the big long summary from the doctor at Mayo, the doctor who actually read my results and then like sends them to my doctor, it's very confusing, that he had said that was basically a non-issue. So, and also that level can be elevated with pregnancy. So if it was just elevated previously in my pregnancy, it could have just been slightly elevated, still not have totally gone back down into normal range. My doctor was cool with it. The doctor at Mayo was cool with it. Everyone's good. So we're not concerned at all about that. So my blood results were good. My HSG was good. The last piece of testing is genetic testing. And we are not going to do that right now. Basically, it comes down to kind of that what we would learn from genetic testing would, if we learned anything other than that we're normal, it would be something that would be really difficult, if not impossible, for us to fix, according to my doctor. It would be something, one of us had a chromosomal abnormality that would basically mean that we couldn't carry a child or we couldn't have a healthy child. So right now we've decided that for us, we just want to focus on the good news, that I'm healthy and that my uterus appears to be great, and we're going to take our time to just kind of let that be the focus and hope that our next pregnancy is our keeper pregnancy, that maybe we just had bad luck. And that in itself is really difficult, to just think that there isn't an answer is hard, but at the same time, it's nice to know that I'm healthy. So we're just trying to focus on that piece of it. Although I will say, yesterday was weird. After we found out, we had said that if we got good news, maybe we would go out with a couple friends to dinner and celebrate. And I couldn't explain it well to them. Like, I tried to explain to her, it's not that we don't want to, it's just that we want to be at home alone. I couldn't explain it, but I just needed to, I needed to just kind of, let it sink. Because while it is good news, it also kind of is bittersweet because we don't know then what happened to all of our babies. So, it's easy then to be like, did we just piss off God, or did we just piss off some karmic force, and so this is just punishment, or do we just have terrible luck? I don't know. So I'm totally off on a tangent. Okay, redirecting. our plan moving forward. This cycle I have been tracking because they wanted to be sure I hadn't ovulated yet for the HSG, which if you have ovulated, it will just flush whatever is in there out and either remove a pregnancy or remove an egg, which means you can't get pregnant that cycle. So I had not, and I am then tracking, so I do know where I'm at in my cycle. And so we are kind of going to try the cycle, but we're not going to try very intensely, like we're not going to time anything. If it doesn't happen, we're going to kind of like be okay with that this cycle. And then next cycle try, more intensely, make sure we're timing things and that sort of thing. We also are talking a little bit about when that genetic testing might happen, and our doctor said we can do it if I get pregnant and I all of a sudden I'm really nervous and want to get it done. He said that we can do it while I'm pregnant. It doesn't, the first round of blood work, if you're pregnant, it can elevate certain levels and throw things off. The genetic testing, your genes are your genes, your genes are your genes, so it doesn't matter when you do it. So I think for now we're going to hold that off until maybe if I get pregnant and we get really worried, we'll do it then, or do it next cycle if we don't get pregnant this one. So that's kind of where we're at as far as trying. We obviously don't have an issue getting pregnant, so for us it's just a matter of knowing when I ovulate so that we can time when my next period's going to come. But we generally don't have a problem. Missing ovulation is not usually an issue for us, and I historically have never not ovulated, so that's good. So I think that's everything as far as moving forward. I'm sorry I'm a little scatterbrained. I didn't realize how emotional I was going to start feeling talking about those results, but it was just a little intense. I think I'm going to start crying. It's just, it's hard and yet it's easy, because on one hand it's I'm healthy, so it's good and it's easy and we just need to focus on the happy, and on the other hand it's but wait, but what happened? So I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting ride figuring out, as we move into trying again and maybe getting pregnant again. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting ride, I think. I'm nervous to get pregnant again because I don't know what it's like to just have a normal pregnancy. I mean, even my first pregnancy, when we hadn't ever had miscarriage, I still had I had a period before we found out. And so I was worried all the way up until our doctor's appointment, and then obviously we didn't get good news. So I've never had just my period's late. Oh, weird, I missed a period. Oh, wow, I'm pregnant. I've never had that. So I don't know. I feel a little cheated because I don't think I'll ever be able to just have that pure joy of getting pregnant, God, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I mean, I feel like it's a little bit I won't ever get to have an experience that's kind of, I've always looked forward to. I've always looked forward to the day that I miss a period and take a pregnancy test, and it's just joy. That's all you picture in that moment is joy, and of course, a little bit of anxiety, oh my God, we're actually pregnant, but pretty much all that joy is just removed now. With our last pregnancy, and even with the second, it was happiness, but it was also just gut-wrenching fear. I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to feel that pain again, and not just the physical pain, but the emotional pain and the grief. I don't want to go through that all again. So I'm really nervous to start trying again, but I can't go even an hour without thinking about becoming a mother and having a baby that I can take home and parent. So I know that in the end, this whole journey will be worth it, but it's hard sometimes. So, geez Louise, guys. I start talking to you and immediately things go to a different place. So, I'm going to go collect my thoughts and maybe put Gossip Girl on so we don't have to feel emotional for a minute. But that's sort of everything. That's our HSG results, our plan moving forward, and how I'm feeling. I'm basically, right now I'm feeling good, but, you know, there's always that bit of sadness, and I'm still, of course, grieving our lost little babes, but yeah, that's where we're at. So, I love you guys. Thank you for being a part of my journey, and all of your support and love as I move through this crazy, crazy thing that is called infertility. So, I love you all. Everyone take care, and baby dust.